Welcome to Kelver Kennels here in Wisbech, the home of greyhound trainer Jim Daly, and it has been since last December when he managed to buy this place with the help of two of his biggest owners, footballers Steve Morrison and Grant Holt. There's no doubt about it, here at Kelver Kennels he's really fulfilling his dreams. So Jim, when did your interest in greyhound racing start and what was the reason?
I started probably around about the age of 12. I used to go to Wimbledon with my stepfather and my brother-in-law Peter. Loved watching the dogs race, but really I suppose it was from a betting point of view that I first got involved in it. You know, having a small flutter on the dogs with my paper round money and such like.
How did it go from that to being the big-time trainer that you are?
I used to, sometimes if I had no money, I'd go down to Wimbledon and just watch the dogs. And then it became less of a betting situation. From then, I just had this huge desire to have a dog myself. So I got a couple of greyhounds and I raced them at a local flapping track called Aldershot, which is sadly no longer there. But that's how I got started in the training side of it.
And am I right in saying that you used to work for the Racing Post as well for a while?
That's right, that was one of my first jobs on leaving school. I went to the Racing Post as a messenger boy, got to know the guys on the greyhound desk, and I kept hounding them for information and tips and stuff. And they took me on board, and Mike Palmer it was who was in charge at the time. He gave me a chance as a trainee journalist on the greyhound desk.
Greyhound racing can be a pretty political sport and certainly has its ups and downs, but is this a career that you enjoy?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I'm really lucky that I've got a job that, you know, I don't even see it as a job. You've got your social life all rolled into your working environment, and it's great being around the dogs. I love the dogs, they're a beautiful breed, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else, to be honest.
Where were you based before you ended up here at Kelver?
We was at Wyndham, just outside of Norwich. We had a little kennel there. It was quite basic facilities. A little bit depressing at times because it wasn't a place that I was proud of. We was kind of forced there through situations, but you know, we're glad to be out of there now. We've got a place here that we really are proud of, and we seem to be moving forward nicely.
What was your success like at your old kennels? What would you say was your best sort of moment in the sport?
Without a doubt, it'll be Jester's Nap winning the Puppy Derby 2008 at Wimbledon. Great moment, you know, fantastic moment. A dog that we bred ourselves, and he was a lovely puppy. It was great for that to really come off. We had a nice touch on it as well, 33-1 anti-post. It done all the owners in the kennel a huge favour, so that will always stick long in the memory.
They come round the final bend, and it's Jester's Nap with his 2.5 length lead around that final turn, and Jester's Nap is away and gone. Track 3, Jester's Nap has romped home. A great success for the small man here.
So despite training greyhounds in far from ideal conditions, and you were explaining that they were, you know, living in darkness and things like that, you still had this success. You must have had big dreams then.
I've always had big dreams, yeah. I actually went to take out my first licence at the age of 21. My ambition was to be the youngest greyhound trainer in the country. Unfortunately, the NGRC at the time, they refused me a licence on the grounds of inexperience. So I'd invested a lot of time and my own money into that venture, and it was really disheartening to get knocked back. But I stuck with the game. I worked as head man to a few decent people. Tony Tugwell at Reading and Portsmouth for about 10 years. Then I went on to Charlie Lister, Linda Jones. So I've had a good grounding, and I don't think they could have said I was inexperienced when they eventually did give me my licence.
Is it fair to say that meeting Steve Morrison and Grant Holt was a turning point in your career?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. There was times at the old kennels when, you know, like you just touched on there, we had no electricity, everything ran off of a generator, we had very poor drainage. There was times there when I seriously felt like giving up. I didn't feel that we was doing the dogs justice by being there, and it was like on a roundabout that we couldn't get off of. We could never find somewhere to move on to better ourselves at that point. And Steve and Grant came along We went to the awards in London one night, and on the way back they asked me, you know, how I see the future, and I said I really need to get out of where I am. I'm not happy there. They said find a place, if it's any good we'll buy it. So I said I've got a place that I really fell in love with. I brought them up here within a week, showed them this place. They could see what I was on about, and I'm, you know, just grateful that they fell in love with it just as much as I did.
Even prior to that, though, you mentioned you went to the awards in London together. They'd put greyhounds with you. How did it come about, that whole relationship between you and them?
The relationship started with just Steve. It was just an email out of the blue, inquiring into a share of a pup that we were syndicating at the time. And then Gemma picked up the email, tried phoning the number. She got the name wrong, and Steve put the phone down first time. Luckily, she realised she had made a mistake, so she phoned him back, and she was a little bit surprised to find out that Steve Morrison was the one inquiring, and you know, he was a Norwich City centre forward at the time. So it was just really a chance thing. You know, Steve had just dropped us an email. He came up the kennels, met us, we had a good chat, just hit it off straight away.
And then more recently, Ladbrokes have got involved here as well. How did that happen?
Yeah, that was another chance meeting with Steve and Alex from Ladbrokes. There was a Trainers' Championship meeting at Yarmouth. They were sitting nearby on tables in the restaurant, and Alex just threw it out there to Steve, what about we coming in and sponsoring the racing club? Steve put the idea to me, and you know, it's a great association to have. How many trainers have got a leading bookmaker involved in sponsorship in their kennels? So, you know, we're really proud of their involvement.
Who's the boss out of you and Steve and Grant? Because they have a big involvement here, don't they? I know that your phone is red hot constantly, courtesy of Steve.
Yeah, Steve and Grant, they see themselves as owners. They want this kennel to develop. They know it's my business. They trust me 100%. They'll run everything by me before anything happens. If I need anything, then I just go back to them with it. It's a really good relationship. I don't feel any pressure whatsoever, and you know, that's, you know, hopefully it will stay like that, because if it does, we've got a long and successful relationship together.